Yesterday was nothing short of epic. We conquered Half Dome, pushing ourselves through the long 16-mile hike, the cables, and the breathtaking views that make Yosemite so legendary. And like any triumphant adventurers, we rewarded ourselves with a pizza in Curry Village. But today is our final day in Yosemite, and it felt only right to begin it here at Glacier Point, one of Yosemite's most iconic viewpoints, and the perfect ending to our 100 hours in Yosemite. From up here, the valley stretches out like a visual chronology of our 4 days here. North Dome sits across the valley, where we dipped our toes into Yosemite with a face-to-face view of Half Dome on day one. The mist trail below, where waterfalls roared past us on day two, and Half Dome itself rising imposingly in front of us, the climb that defined day three. Seeing it all from this one place finally puts Yosemite into scale. Not just how beautiful it is, but how vast it truly feels. Standing here, it's hard to not feel both insignificant and profoundly alive at the same time. The sheer scale of the park, the way sunlight dances across the cliffs, and the quiet hum of nature. It's a moment you want to freeze forever. Richard commented that the itinerary was perfect. If we'd started here first, none of it would have felt as monumental.
I think what you did really good at, Aaron.
What did I do good at?
You did good. One thing you did good is starting at North Dome, so we got this side perspective of Half Dome, which is my first time of understanding. Look, this is Half Dome, Rich. It's like introduction to Half Dome. Like, okay, but I think that's so smart for you to like show me that this angle of perspective takes us everywhere we've done. But from there, you know, what I mean, you're in one side. You know what I mean? So now I get it.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Good work.
This view is more powerful after you've walked the trails, climbed the rocks, and slept under the stars. Yosemite had to be experienced first, before it could truly be appreciated from this spot. Glacier Point sits 3,200 feet above the valley floor, offering 360-degree views that have inspired visitors for over a century. On a clear day, you can see all the way to the High Sierra peaks. Unlike most places we've been to all week, Glacier Point isn't something you have to earn. In fact, it's one of Yosemite's most accessible viewpoints to see Half Dome up close. No hiking, just park and walk a short distance. After 3 hard days on the trail, and another one this afternoon, this moment was a nice break. Before arriving at Glacier Point, we had spent the night in a proper campsite for the first time, after 3 nights in the backcountry. We would be spending the final day along Glacier Point Road, so choosing a campground allowed us to be closer to today's adventure. It was a welcome change, just enough comfort to rest before the final hike, but still surrounded by Yosemite's towering cliffs and whispering pines. Being closer to Glacier Point Road gave us the freedom to slow down, to savor the final day without rushing. After a reflective morning at Glacier Point, we made one last stop at the Wilderness Office to pick up our permits. Let's just say the backcountry briefing was more memorable than expected. Can you do the bear thing again?
It's gonna get loud.
Everybody, do we mind if I scream and pretend like I scared a black bear away?
Do it.
Yeah, all right. Put them on TikTok.
Hey! Hey!
Perfect, thank you. I made him do that. But yeah, this is Courtney and Eric, literally the two most entertaining rangers we've met here at Yosemite. So if you come here, check them out.
That is how you scare a black bear away.
Courtney and Eric were 2 rangers you can't help but talk to for hours. We almost did. Along with Cody, who saw us in the backcountry on day 1 and later remembered us at Glacier Point. If any rangers are watching, thanks for what you do. These 3 unintentionally became part of the story of our time in Yosemite, the kind of rangers you'd want to adventure with. Finally, by 5 p.m., we arrived at the trailhead along Glacier Point Road to get ready for the grand finale, our final hike of the trip. It's 5 o'clock and we're heading out on the McGurk Meadow Trail to Dewey Point and then on to Crocker Point for the night. Our final night. And let's see if we can make it here before sunset. After the intensity of Half Dome and the mist trail, I wanted to finish with a trail that felt less challenging, but would give us a worthy finale. Similar to day 1 at North Dome. Flat and almost effortless. A walk in the park, a gentle farewell to the waterfalls, the towering conifers, the immense granite walls, and the crisp mountain air that had become a constant companion over the last few days. The trail wandered through shaded forests, where sunlight filtered softly through the trees, alternating with open meadows where wildflowers lined the path. Every step felt like a slow goodbye to the park, and yet there was a sense of anticipation, because the best was still to come. The trail was serene. We were the only ones on it, as if on our own secret trail. Meadows opened up like hidden rooms. Wildflowers sway gently in the breeze. And the forest hums with a quiet kind of life. Glacier Point Road. Wow, we've already hiked 2 miles.
That's great.
Wow, we're halfway there.
Glacier Point this way? Half Point this way?
This way.
Oh yeah, Dewey Point. 2 miles.
This is 1.9 miles in, and this trail splits left to Dewey Point, right to Taft Point. The only time I've seen a bear in Yosemite is in the car, but I've never seen any on the trails. So I kind of hope we see this one. Keep talking loud. They won't come.
Okay. Talking loud.
Hey bear. Shafts of sunlight cut through the canopy, creating patterns on the dirt path. Crossing the little creek.
We use Google Maps to like maybe, these bears are stuck in the mix of deforestation in the land clearing.
These are the in-between places where conversations wander.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And like show them the route and be like, I'll do it again. But, you know,
hiking with someone for days on end does something interesting. Over these 100 hours, we didn't just hike Yosemite, we experienced it together. What time is it?
1:20.
6:20?
Yes.
So an hour and 20?
Now I'm 20.
What Richard didn't know was that the view here was the last surprise of the trip. Our camp spot would be on the edge of a cliff, with a direct view of El Capitan, where Alex Honnold climbed in free solo. This view might be the best secret camp spot that very few people know about. If the weather stays clear, it's going to be an epic final night on the edge of Yosemite. The forest finally cleared as we reached Dewey Point.
This opens up.
You see something over there?
Nope.
See it?
Oh, the one with the light?
In the back?
Very far? The tip of Half Dome?
Yes.
Oh, it seems so far away from it.
In clouds rest.
Oh yeah. Cool. Wow.
And El Capitan, right in front of us.
Oh, an hour and 25 minutes.
Beautiful. Most people finish here, but for us, it was just a quick viewpoint. Our final destination is about a mile west at Crocker Point, where the view is slightly better, in my opinion. Dewey Point offered a jaw-dropping teaser to where we were going. From here, the valley seemed impossibly vast. What do you think?
This is wow. This is honestly the most amazing ending to our trip, Aaron. You've just taken me to the most panoramic 360 views of the whole of Yosemite. And like, yeah. It's just like, I don't know, mind-blowing. And I think now, just as the sun's going down, it's even more wild.
Surreal, huh? Look at that El Capitan right there.
Where's El Capitan? Over there.
And then you have Half Dome, the tip of it, in the shadow.
Oh my god.
And then we have North Dome in the back. We did that.
Oh yeah, Half Dome's just in the shadow over there.
Uh-huh.
And you got North Dome over there. Oh my god, we're on the completely other side of Yosemite. And where's that in front of me?
That is El Capitan.
Alex.
Climb that thing. So beautiful at sunset.
I'm like, I go to the edge, right? And I'm like, because I can see how far down, I'm also going, wait, be careful here too.
Yeah.
So your wits about you is like trying to be stable with your bed knees.
Right.
And you don't want to be like going, oh my god. Look, there's trees, like literally, look at this, there's trees, bro.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. You know where we're going?
Where are we going?
Crocker Point, over there.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it's not too far away.
Yeah, it's
Just
super-
over
it's
that,
just over there.
over that angle. Those birds. We lingered, took it all in, snapped a few photos, recorded some messages for a few friends who we knew would appreciate the views. Philip, hey buddy, I'm at a pretty cool place and thought of you. You might recognize this place. If you didn't, we'll talk soon. And then continued on. The culmination awaited us just a little further along the trail. The trail from here to Crocker Point is short. As the light began to soften, shadows grew longer and the air cooled. And then, as we reached the view of Crocker Point from the main trail, words almost failed. Crazy, huh? All right, let's get there. Seeing the cliff where we would be camping jutting out over the valley was breathtaking, like the moment they finally reached Paradise Falls in Up. This was the grand finale, and it did not disappoint. Our final view.
Perfect.
So that right there, down there, you see the waterfall?
Yeah, you can.
That's Bridalveil Fall. You can see it from tunnel view.
Yeah, that's right.
And then now it's right there.
Amazing.
The only place where you can see Bridalveil Fall and El Capitan from above. Look at that, you can see Half Dome, El Cap, and Bridalveil Fall. You can't beat this.
Oh yeah, you are. You can see Half Dome as well. That's why you like this spot. You can kind of see.
This might be the best secret spot in Yosemite. We found the perfect spot to make the final supper on the edge of the cliff. Sitting on the edge of the valley with a direct view of El Capitan, one of the most iconic walls on Earth. The same wall where Alex Honnold made history climbing free solo. Knowing what that wall represents, not just in climbing, but in human possibility. What a gift to be able to witness. And it all felt like a story unfolding just for us. The cliffs, the rivers, the meadows, the sky. They're all a reminder that the world is immense. Here at the edge of the cliff, we didn't just see Yosemite. We felt it. In our bones, in our hearts, in the quiet laughter between friends. It felt less like an ending and more like a promise that this adventure would linger long after we left the valley behind. Moments like this reminds you why you travel, why you hike, why you chase sunsets across the world. After the challenge of the days before, this felt perfect. An easy hike, an epic way to cap off the trip, a cinematic sunset, literally and proverbially. This was the last surprise for Richard, or was it? Later in the night, when we were half asleep in our tent, a rustling sound outside sent Richard straight into bear mode. So Richard thought he heard a bear by our tent 2 times, right?
Yeah, twice.
Twice. You heard a growl?
I heard a growl. I heard shuffling next to my ear, and then I heard a growl.
Sure it wasn't the wind?
I'm sure.
I think it probably was the wind. And you interpreted it as a bear, but I think it was just shuffling on the wind.
My heart was up before. Look. Now it's going down. It's double my resting heart. Do you know what I mean?
Alright.
I'm not lying about it. Like I heard something, my heart raced, and I've been up since. And I'm like, wait. That's what I feel like I heard what I heard, Like you said, fine, maybe they're just sniffing around and going away or whatever, but still.
Or you sure it wasn't the planes going by?
No, I could hear that in the background. I try to focus on the planes. No, I'm at 92. I'm still really high. 93. I was at 97 when I told you I showed you the
93 now. Okay, this is going down.
This is going down.
Okay, we're going down. We're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's bears in the valley all the time at the campgrounds, just exploring at night. And if it comes to your tent, you just shoo it away, or you just make sounds, and it'll just get startled and run off. They don't have any reason to claw through the tent and try to attack you.
Yeah, gotcha. All right.
So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be kind of cool if it was.
Why? Because then it'd be like
nice finale, right?
Yeah, finale, like an encounter.
A nice finale for the last day in Yosemite.
You're saying we'd survive it. And,
yeah, there you go. Survive bear encounter in Yosemite. It's 11:13. We haven't heard anything since, so we'll check back if there's any bears.
All right. Okay.
It's 11:20. I'll check it back at midnight when I go get my camera out there. Got my camera on the edge filming a time lapse of El Capitan climbers, so I'm gonna have to go out there and check in an hour, see if there's any bears. Okay, does that sound better?
Oh, yeah, I guess. It wasn't like it was like a growl, like it was like a low growl. And I was just like, that's why I got upstream. It was like, that's a bear,
So far we're good.
We're all good.
We are safe. Eventually I stepped outside to investigate and found nothing. Just the wind rustling through the trees and tent. The Milky Way spinning overhead, tiny constellations of climbers suspended on El Capitan, hikers scattered across distant trails, car headlights tracing the valley below, reminding me that the adventure was unfolding everywhere at once. As the constellations slowly faded into dawn, morning arrived with one final surprise. An incredible sunrise that painted the valley one final time. A fitting farewell to our 100 hours in Yosemite.
Welcome.
Were there any bears last night?
Huh? No bears, man. I swear I heard a growl.
Just hallucinations, right?
I think so. I swear I heard a growl. I have to admit, I woke up Aaron for no reason. I heard this sniffing or ruffling near my bag, and then I heard a growl.
Only 3 times.
Talk about being exhausted.
Yeah. Only 3 times, no worries.
2, come on.
And your heart rate was like...
So up, it was like 107. I think I've never been so scared in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it was just this talk of, I don't know, bears and... I mean, obviously our packs had nothing in them.
This is the view. This is why you wake up early. "100 hours in this place, and every step, every climb, and every night beneath the stars had built to this moment. We reflected on the days we'd spent wandering the park. North Dome, Mist Trail, Half Dome, Glacier Point, Dewey Point, and now Crocker Point. Yosemite didn't just show us beautiful places. It reminded us how small we are and how meaningful that smallness can be. When this series began, I talked about a goal to visit every national park, or at least attempt to explore as many as I can, to experience these landscapes not just as destinations, but as stories worth telling. Yosemite was our first, and it couldn't have been a better beginning. If you've enjoyed this journey, I hope you'll subscribe and continue along with me. There'll be more cinematic adventures, more guides, more parks, and more friends along the way. And in between trips, more flyovers to help plan what is to come. Yosemite may be over, but the journey has only just begun, and I can't wait to share what happens next.